So moving on to AEW. Well, they still exist, and they're having a pay-per-view this weekend, AEW Revolution. It's one of their traditional pay-per-views. It's their first one, I think, since World's End at the end of December. It's hard to keep track. They've had a few of those special event shows along the way. But we'll stick to, the major matches here. Jon Moxley, Adam Copeland for the AEW World Championship. A lot of wrestling people like to diss on Edge for going into, AEW in the sense of now he's working a lot more, probably for less money. He's not getting the spotlight like he would in WWE. What do you think about Edge being in AEW? I imagine he's fine and happy where he is. He's doing what he loves. What do you make? Do you think they're going to put the belt on him? Do you think that he cares?
I don't think they put the belt on him, to be honest with you. But I do, to that first point, I think Edge, Adam Copeland, Cope, as he goes by now, I think he's just happy to be in a ring and wrestle. Money's not really a thing, for him, I don't think, because him and Beth Phoenix, his wife, they've done very well, and I think he's making good money. Let's not say
people.
He's not.
People always diss on these people who go to AEW and be like, "You main evented WrestleMania, now where you are." But that's a good example. Is you main evented, you've done it, so it's not really
But you know what? Think of it this way, and it's not main event, but. We just saw the Hardys on NXT this past week, and guess what? They were on WrestleMania shows for many years. So it's that stuff I don't really get all worked up about. To me, he's in a title match. He's still wrestling. He's still doing what he loves. If it's less money and maybe he's working more, that's his choice. He can do whatever he wants. He's a grown man. He's also a Hall of Fame, a legend in the business. So kudos to him. But I still think Mox is taking retaining the title.
Here's the matches that I think should be on this card, and I think we could, the Hurt Syndicate versus the Outrunners, that could be on the pre-show. Not really anything negative to say about any of those. Those are all great people involved, specifically Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin. But just, there's a few matches that I think are really good here. Swerve Strickland and Ricochet, the winner is the number one contender for the AEW World Championship. Obviously, those guys are major talents. This is Ricochet's time to shine and show exactly, some of the things that he's able to do here that he wasn't able to do in WWE, for all the people that diss him for leaving WWE, you know what I mean, essentially, or, not, being as popular and big deal that he is now in his second company. But that's a match I think definitely needs to be on this card. Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher. What? I got Ricochet. Because we've seen Swerve Strickland. He's been the champion before. I think this is a chance to really propel Ricochet. And then if you do that, then you, again, get rid of those naysayers who are like, Ricochet was against Logan Paul at the Royal Rumble in front of 50,000, and now he's wrestling in front of 2,000 and nobody watching it.
I will argue is I agree with you. I think Ricochet will get the win, but I still think he's very weak on the mic, and that's a big skill set issue for him. He does everything else good. To me, I still feel like it's forced, rehearsed, and kind of awkward when I've seen him on the mic. Mm-hmm. So that's something that I wish he would have like a Prince Nana, so to speak. I know they've had their little back and forth there, but I wish he would have a mouthpiece, because I think he's the type of talent that with a good manager that's a good talking piece. With his wrestling skill set, I think he could be the sky's the limit. So I do think Tony Khan really is high on Ricochet, and he should be, and I think he wins the match.
Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher in a steel cage. Obviously, they've been going back and forth for quite a while. They had obviously a little issue going on back at Grand Slam, starting at the Continental Classic, I think. But just two amazing competitors. I even think, if I'm not mistaken, they went one-on-one at AEW Full Gear. I was there. I just remember. I think, if I can remember, because I remember whenever I saw Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher do that night, were both awesome, and I think it was that match. Those guys are amazing. Inside a steel cage should be actually interesting for the fact that they're both high flyers, and they're kind of being confined, so no flying out of the ring or in the entranceway or doing it keeping it in that setting, I think should be interesting, because we've seen a lot of the other, and without getting too repetitive, this might change it up a little bit, where we're doing more stunts that lead back into the ring instead of stunts onto the announce table and into the crowd and those kind of things. So I'm excited for that match. MJF and Hangman Adam Page, right? We've had.
Well, actually, hold on. Before we get there, who do you got in that match too?
I mean, I don't think it matters who wins this match, so I don't. Again, we've talked a little bit about following stories. Who would you lead now? I mean, I'm always a Will Ospreay person, but again, this storyline's kind of been going back and forth for so long, and I don't know if this is the end of it, and I don't know.
The real winner is the fans, but I will pick Kyle Fletcher.
But MJF and Adam Page, right? They've been having the feud for a little bit. Obviously, back when they were together. Then they obviously were apart. That whole gimmick of talk about heel turns and all that stuff, like with WWE. The kick to the groin, right? We saw MJF do that to Adam Page, and start this rivalry that's been going on for like a year now. Since I don't remember when MJF and Adam Page, wasn't that like a dynasty last year in like April when MJF made his return?
I think it's been almost a year.
Yeah, and they've been kind of. I thought they were going to build up to the next pay-per-view and that would be it, And here we are, still kind of going off over that. I see MJF. I see Adam Page winning this match. I see Adam Page winning. I mean, I don't really know how to explain it, but that's what I see as a winner of this match.
I'll take MJF just for the sole fact that MJF is still money.
Timeless Toni Storm and Mariah May. Now, that is a good rivalry that's been going on for this women's championship. The back and forth that they've been doing, for the women's title, I think has been some of the best women's work in not just AEW, but pro wrestling. It's a Falls Count Anywhere match, so I'm very excited to see this match. Toni Storm, the current champion, I think she defends the belt and we move on for Mariah May after this. What do you think?
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I think Timeless Toni retains the title.
I think if Timeless Toni retains the title, I think this, and I'm not going to lie, I don't really know much about who this person is other than vaguely, and that's who Mercedes Moné is facing for the TBS championship. This Momo Wannabe, I don't really
Wanatambe.
Wanatambe, there you go. See, I don't know much about her. I know she's from Stardom in Japan. I know obviously Mercedes has missed all belts over here, and she's got a belt from every company, all overseas and New Japan. But I see her losing the TBS championship, and I see then her being the next contender for Toni Storm. Am I wrong there?
I don't think you're off base on that. I have to agree with you. I think
Mercedes has been in AEW for now 1 year because she came in last March, right? And she's been flirting with the TBS title the whole time. And I thought she'd be world champion by now, right? She's the biggest face of that company in the women's division, right? And because they haven't been doing much with her, she's been kind of just floundering. And, again, another one of those people are like, why did she come to AEW for if this is the result? So it's time to put her like in a match against Toni Storm. And I dare say it, maybe even her in the match against Toni Storm, main event a pay-per-view, be the main match.
Well, that's,
I'm just saying.
I mean, let's be honest. Like, I mean, everything that you just said, like, it always feeds into my point where, Mercedes Moné, like, it hasn't worked in AEW in my opinion. I don't think this version of her has been very good. I just think it's been kind of bland. It's kind of meh for me. And I think you're right. I think something with Timeless Toni maybe could help turn that around a little bit.
And then we've had a little bit of a back and forth for this AEW International Championship. Takeshita versus Kenny Omega is the match. But Kenny Omega, I think, had to like earn his way there. And then there was like an international championship match on Dynamite, and the winner will face this kind of stuff that they had like a series, I guess you will, just to essentially kind of similar to what we saw with Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, where it's like Bianca will face the winner of this match. They were doing that there. And now we're down to just the pay-per-view match itself. I see Kenny Omega winning this belt. It is a below him belt, but I think he is going to earn his way back into the spotlight of main event, but it's taken a little while. So I don't see him losing it and getting right back in the title picture. I see him kind of getting to this title and then kind of slowly earning his way back up to main event status of what we saw back in the day with him and Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks and all those guys. So he got to earn his way back a little bit to being the face of the company, which he was when this place opened up. Yeah. And I think this is the start. I think he's not going right back. He's not going right back to the main event title picture. I think he's going to be a mid-carder, if you will, for a little bit. And this is the start for him to kind of lead the mid-card charge.
I agree 100%. I think this is just I don't want to say it, I don't want to diminish the title, but it's a stepping stone for him.
It's a stepping stone, but you would think he doesn't need a stepping stone, but I think he does. I think he needs to earn his way back, right? He was the face of this company when it first started. He was the biggest free agent when people thought he was going to debut in the Royal Rumble, and there wasn't a bigger non-WWE star out there. But, he's kind of cooled off a little bit, as all of AEW in general, as a whole company has. Yeah. So I think this is, like I said, a stepping stone for him to kind of, just like AEW as a company, to get back up to where essentially they were.
You want to get that good faith back from the audience.
Yes, and we'll see what kind of crowd they get at the Crypto.com Arena in downtown Los Angeles. So that should be interesting. But AEW pay-per-views, they always deliver. And I think, one way to make them deliver and I don't want to say it, but take a page from WWE. I don't know if they're going to do it. I keep asking for them to do it.
3 hours or less.
Yes. 3 hours or less. Keep the matches a little bit, total of matches. We have 8 on the main card here, which is so far, they've done 10 at 11. So we've got 8 here on the main card.
That to me sounds like 4 hours.
Let's keep it under. I guess even with AEW, if you just keep it under 4 hours, because they have a hard time of even doing that. They want to make it like WrestleMania and longer every time out. So let's keep this down. If it starts at 8, let's make it over at midnight. If it starts at 7, let's make it over at 11. Let's just no 11:15, 11:20 nonsense. Like let's keep it down. Then that's my only ask. Just steal that from WWE or as much of it as you can, and I think that'll help start growing the product back up.